You know, when you look up at the stands in that game, it doesn't matter which place you hold it at, there's no empty space, you know. It's the one game like that that, you know, both teams are lucky enough to get to go experience. I think it's just an electric kind of an atmosphere.
In my very first Battle of the Bridge, my first impression of it was it almost felt like a festival. You know, there's the colors between the purple and the gold and the red and the black, and then the cheerleaders and the bands, and so it really kind of was a festive atmosphere.
It's the most exciting game of the year for me. I mean, a lot of fans, a lot of hype. Anything that happens in that game, everyone's going crazy, so it's just cool to be in that environment.
I'm excited because it's going to be a packed house, obviously. Battle of the Bridge is a pretty big deal around here, and I'm excited to play in that kind of atmosphere.
Much more of an atmosphere than I've ever played in any other game. There's always more hype when it's Lewiston because, you know, they're just right across the river.
I always tell the kids one of the things to look forward to for this game is just to enjoy the atmosphere that they have, because they're never going to get another one like this.
The fact that we're holding the game this year versus not having one, you know, that's what I'm excited about. The kids getting to go experience it.
I think it's a really cool tradition because it just brings the whole community together. I'm really confident that we'll come out strong.
Me, I've never personally seen Clarkston win, but I would love to be part of that and be one of the reasons why they do win.
Well, here it is, 2 years in the making. The biggest high school football game of the year returns to the LC Valley. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Brady, Frederick, and tonight there was no doubt that this would be our game of the week. The 131st edition of the Battle of the Bridges between the Lewiston Bengals and the Clarkston Bantams. We are in for a wild one tonight. It has been 721 days since these two teams faced off. And we're going to give you all the action tonight, every angle of this magnificent rivalry, starting off with the home team, Lewiston Bengals.
What do you like about Saturday? I know it was another high-scoring one for you guys, tons of offense. What was working?
Well, we had 600 yards offense. That's what I like.
The Bengals have been torching the scoreboard early on in the year. The 1-2 punch of running back Cruz Hepburn and quarterback Jace McArcher has really opened up the offense.
Our offense has been working really well. You know, we're mixing it up good, and we're hard to predict right now.
Switched up the variety, I think. There was a lot of run and pass plays. We blocked great on run plays.
It's just depth, you know, I think. Depth more than anything, you know. We got a ton of kids that can go make plays this year.
They look to bring their show to the biggest stage they'll see all season. It's been 2 years since they've seen both screaming sides of the LC Valley.
Especially when you get a big stop and you get the crowd hyped up, it gets you hyped up.
You know, it's almost nerve-wracking to walk out there.
It's easy to get kind of off track in that game with all the fans and everything, so I'm just going to try to stay focused and I'm going to work hard.
Historically, the Bengals are the favorite. They've ran the table for over a decade, but they're still going in ready for war.
Definitely some pressure. Got to execute.
Make sure we're prepared mentally and physically to go out there and beat some butt.
It's a huge game for them. If they beat us, then that's all they care about for their season. I mean, but we're not going to let that happen. We're a very physical team, so I don't think they'll match with our physicality, but we got to still execute mentally and execute on our plays and just focus on us.
It's the biggest rivalry game we have, so I think everything gets a little more heated, but you know, it's just like any other game. We're going out there, we're going to try to execute and get the win.
Hey, Bengals on 3. 1, 2, 3. Bengals! Woo! Now, the Bengals are obviously feeling pretty good about this one, and they should be. History has been on their side in the past. For the Clarkston Bantams, it has been since 2014 that they won this matchup. Back then, the seniors on this team were in 5th grade, but that's not stopping them from feeling like they can flip the script on this game tonight. Here's your look at the Clarkston Bantams.
The Clarkston Bantams got off to a hot start from the very first play of their season.
Walking down the street, yeah, with an attitude. Everybody know my style, kinda rude.
But the Moscow Bears had other plans in the second half.
We need to just keep our foot on the gas.
We slowed down a little bit there, and they took advantage of it.
Still, the feeling with this young team is optimistic.
Our guys really competed. We had 2 players on our starting offense that ever played a varsity game. We competed hard, and I think that we'll be a better team this week than we were on Friday.
Even when playing under the atmosphere of the Battle of the Bridges.
Okay, don't get caught up in the noise.
You just got to focus on every play, and you can't look in the stands. You can't hear what they're all screaming.
Just block that out and say, hey, we've got a game just like every other game we have every year, and focus on our job.
The biggest factor for the Bantams will be the team's depth.
Lewiston's, they're way bigger than us. They can just put subs and subs and subs in, whereas we got to just keep working and working.
In fact, that's been a long-time key for Lewiston. In past games, they've been close at half, but then Clarkston runs out of gas.
Can't run out of energy at the end. We just got to keep it, bring it the whole game.
But history has not discouraged the Bantams. They see it as a chance to shock the entire valley.
I know you feel it inside, so let me hear you say.
I don't think we'll ever be seen as the not the underdog. So we embrace it, we understand it, and sometimes it puts a little chip on our kids' shoulders to prove what we can do.
I mean, I go out into every game like I got something to prove. That's just me as a player, and I like to think that that's how all my teammates are. We just want to win every game no matter what.
I can't hear you now, let me hear you get louder.
Faster, we got to work harder with it. That's pretty much all we can do. At the end of the day, it's who wants it more.
Plenty more big games across the region tonight. We'll start out in Washington as the Pullman Greyhounds host the Toppenish Wildcats. Pullman still hasn't put up any points on the season, falling to Zilla in a shutout on opening week. We'll see if they have better luck in front of the home crowd. In Moscow, the Bears host the Timberlake Tigers. The Bears have snuck by with 2 single-score wins to remain undefeated on the year. We'll see if they can keep it up against the Tigers. Despite being in different classes, these teams typically play these games very close, so it might set the Bears up for another thriller. Out in Genesee, the Bulldogs host the Potlatch Loggers, both of these teams coming off big wins last Friday. And we'll see a clash of styles. The Genesee Bulldogs are small but speedy, while the Loggers are big and physical. We'll see who prevails and remains undefeated. And over in Lapway, the Wildcats host the Trojans for their first home game of the season. The Wildcats kept pace with the Oakley Hornets down in the 8-man classic to start off the season, but then fell hard in the second half. Now as they open up White Pine League play against Troy. Now Troy has gone 1-1 on the season, falling to Potlatch last week, so they'll be looking to get back on track. And after their first home game was canceled, the KMEI Cubs open up into league play facing off with the Logos Knights. KMEI made the playoffs last season, went into the second round. They're trying to repeat that, maybe even go further, despite having some new faces, filling in some key roles for the graduating seniors. As for the Knights, after starting off their program with a win, they got a taste of White Pine League play, falling hard to the Genesee Bulldogs last week. But with a new team, there's plenty of time to learn and make adjustments. Now, the name of the game for KMEI is going to be speed and physicality, so they will be giving the Knights a very tough test. And that brings us back to the Valley. There is electricity in the air. The bands are here, and we are less than 30 minutes away from kickoff. Now, for the Clarkston Bantams, a young team who is eager to make some noise tonight, Coach Bryce By says the key is going to be precision, taking care of all the little details and then turning those into big plays. For the Bengals, Coach Matt Pancari has been impressed with what he's seen on the offensive side of the ball this year. They have racked up a lot of touchdowns early on in the season. Tonight, he wants to pass that torch to the defense and try to limit Clarkston to less than 3 scores scores on the night. If they can do that, they feel confident they can take home the win in front of the home crowd. But in a rivalry game like this, with this kind of atmosphere, you never really know. Well, we'll see what happens tonight. Tune in to KLEW News Live at 11 for Friday Night Blitz. We'll show you the highlights of the Battle of the Bridges, as well as all the other games going on around the region. For now, from Bengal Field in Lewiston, I'm Brady Frederick, KLEW Sports.